Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into something that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Oh,
Building a capital city
wow.
from scratch.
Okay.
And we're talking about Amaravati,
Okay.
the new capital of Andhra Pradesh in India.
I've heard about this.
And get this,
Yeah.
they're trying to do it all in just 3 years.
What?
So we're going to unpack all the details,
Okay.
the challenges, the pitfalls, everything.
Sounds good.
And we're going to be using this recent article as our guide.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
it's ambitious, to say the least.
Yeah, it's really unprecedented.
Yeah, the scale and speed are just...
It's like they hit fast forward on urban development.
Yeah, and so for those who need a quick recap,
Sure.
Andhra Pradesh lost its previous capital, Hyderabad,
Right.
when the state of Telangana was formed
Mm-hmm.
back in 2014.
Yeah.
They decided to build Amaravati as a replacement.
Okay.
Started construction.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, everything just stopped for 5 years.
Yeah. It's kind of baffling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like imagine...
Like halting construction midway through and then just like
I don't know.
speeding to the finish line.
And that initial 6-month deadline
Oh my gosh.
that the High Court imposed.
I don't know. That was
6 months?
wild.
I can't even renovate my bathroom in 6 months.
Exactly.
But now they've negotiated a 3-year deadline,
Still aggressive.
which, let's be honest, is still incredibly aggressive.
Very aggressive.
It's just mind-boggling to think about what they're trying to achieve
Yeah.
in such a short time frame.
Yeah.
The Legislative Assembly,
Yeah.
the High
I see
Court,
all the administrative buildings,
administrative buildings, everything.
everything a city needs.
Everything a functioning city needs.
Yeah. And they're doing all of this while dealing with like
I know,
a
yeah.
42% increase in construction costs since the project was first conceived.
That's crazy.
You have to wonder if this is going to like, put a strain on the budget.
Right.
Maybe they'll have to make cuts elsewhere. It raises some serious questions about, is this even financially viable?
Yeah, that's a huge
Huge jump.
jumping cost.
I know.
Speaking of finances, where's all the money coming from
Yeah.
for this massive undertaking?
The central government has pledged a pretty hefty sum,
Okay.
15,000 crore.
Wow.
But even that might not be enough.
Really?
They're looking at securing loans from the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank.
Okay.
And these aren't just like handouts.
Right.
Both institutions have conducted thorough impact assessments.
Mm-hmm.
The World Bank has even given its in-principle clearance for a loan.
So that in-principle clearance definitely gives them some credibility.
For sure.
But are there strings attached to these loans?
That's a good question.
We know those institutions sometimes have conditions.
Yeah.
And it would be interesting to see what kind of influence they might have on Amaravati's development.
For sure.
But let's move on to the city itself.
Okay.
What's the vision? What is it actually going to look like?
So the master plan is designed by this renowned firm, Foster Plus Partners.
Okay.
And it really paints this picture of like a modern, ambitious city.
Yeah.
And there's this really striking image of a 250-meter tall assembly building
Oh, wow.
offering panoramic views of the city.
250 meters.
It's 50 meters.
It's taller. I can't even think of anything that tall off the top of my head.
It's massive.
That's just, you really get a sense of how grand their vision is.
It's statement.
And what about the other government buildings?
So they're also planning these 5 administrative towers,
Okay.
with 3 of them soaring at least 39 floors high.
Wow.
It's an impressive skyline they're envisioning.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going all in
Yeah,
on creating this modern metropolis.
going big.
But it can't just be government buildings, right?
Exactly.
A city needs more than that to thrive.
They're also aiming to attract central government departments
Okay.
and well-known educational institutions to Amaravati.
So it's all part of their strategy.
It's all about accelerating that growth.
That sounds great in theory.
Yeah.
But will these institutions actually relocate
Yeah.
to a brand new city?
Good question.
What's the appeal for them?
Yeah.
Is there a guarantee of top talent,
Right.
research opportunities,
Mhm.
funding?
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see how they plan to make Amaravati a truly attractive destination for these institutions.
Yeah.
What about infrastructure?
Oh, yeah.
Are there any notable projects?
So they are investing heavily in infrastructure,
Okay.
particularly transportation.
Okay.
They have this new 57-kilometer railway line
It's 57 kilometers.
that connects Amaravati to a major national highway.
Okay, that's a significant investment.
Big time.
57 kilometers, that's quite a commute.
Yeah,
I hope they have comfortable trains.
me too.
But it makes sense.
Yeah,
Accessibility is key
they're sure.
for attracting businesses and residents.
Absolutely.
It's a classic build it and they will come approach.
Build it and they will come.
Yeah. Yeah. With construction expected to ramp up this month.
This month.
It sounds like things are really starting to move.
It's happening.
But the big question is,
Yeah.
can they actually pull this off?
3 years.
In just 3 years.
That's the question.
And what are the risks if they don't?
What happens then?
That's the million-dollar question.
Million-dollar question.
And it's not just about meeting the deadline.
Right.
We have to consider the potential benefits and risks
The bigger picture.
of such a massive undertaking.
Right.
What would it be like to actually live
Yeah.
in a brand new, purpose-built capital city?
To be one of the first people to live there.
What are the challenges?
Right.
What are the opportunities that they'll face?
Yeah. Let's dive into those challenges and opportunities,
Yeah.
especially from a political standpoint,
Right.
because I know there's been some back and forth
Yeah.
regarding Amaravati's development.
Right.
What's the current political landscape and how might it impact the project's future?
So the political context is fascinating.
Yeah,
Stability is crucial
absolutely.
for a project of this magnitude.
Of course.
And the current ruling party, the TDP,
Okay.
seems to have a fairly solid foundation.
Yeah.
They hold a strong majority in the assembly.
Right. But I recall another party
Yeah.
being involved in this whole capital city saga.
Yes.
Didn't their vision differ from the current plan?
Right. I think so.
Yeah. So the YSRCP, the previous ruling party,
Okay.
they had a different approach.
Okay.
They proposed a model with 3 capital cities
3 capitals.
spread across the state,
Wow.
drawing inspiration from South Africa.
This sounds a bit complicated.
Yeah.
Especially considering the political landscape.
Right.
What were they thinking?
It's difficult to say for sure,
Yep.
but their inability to effectively implement this model,
Okay.
along with other factors,
Yeah.
led to their downfall in the last election.
Really?
And as our source points out, this indecision
Right.
stalled development and ultimately impacted the people of Andhra Pradesh.
So it seems the TDP,
Yeah.
with their clear focus on Amaravati,
Mm-hmm.
might have a better chance of seeing this project through.
It seems that way.
Political stability is a major factor
Huge
in
thing.
attracting investors
Mm-hmm.
and ensuring the project stays on track.
Makes sense.
But even with a stable government,
Yeah.
this project is a gamble.
Oh, yeah.
They're working with a tight budget
For sure.
and managing the finances of this massive undertaking,
Right.
ensuring transparency
Yeah.
and avoiding potential pitfalls
Mhm.
will be crucial.
Absolutely.
We've talked about the financial risks,
Yeah.
but what about the potential downsides
Okay.
from a social and environmental perspective?
That raises an important question about sustainability.
Okay.
You know, building a brand new city from scratch
Yeah.
has inherent environmental implications.
Right.
Are they prioritizing eco-friendly construction practices?
Mm.
How are they planning to manage resources like water and energy? These are critical considerations
Right.
that could make or break the project in the long run.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of building a brand new city,
Oh, yeah.
but it's crucial to think long term.
Absolutely.
What about the human element?
Oh, yeah. That's important.
Are there communities living in the area where Amaravati is being built?
Absolutely. The human element is a crucial aspect of any development project.
Right.
We need to consider the impact on existing communities,
Mm.
the potential for displacement,
Yeah.
and whether there are plans for fair relocation and compensation.
Right.
Building a successful city isn't just about impressive buildings and infrastructure.
Right.
It's about creating a thriving and inclusive community
Mm-hmm.
where everyone has the opportunity to benefit.
Okay.
And that's something we need to examine more closely.
So we've laid out the vision, the scale,
Yep.
the political backdrop,
Mm-hmm.
and some initial concerns.
Right.
Now let's really dig into the potential challenges and opportunities
Let's get into it.
that lie ahead for Amaravati.
Okay. It's fascinating. You know, Amaravati has this chance
Yeah.
to define its own identity from the ground up.
Right.
It's not bound by like historical constraints or existing infrastructure of an older city.
Yeah.
It's a blank canvas.
You see a blank canvas?
They have the opportunity to
Yeah.
create a city that reflects the values
Right.
and aspirations of modern India.
Hmm.
A city that's sustainable, innovative, and inclusive.
So a blank canvas,
Yeah.
that's a powerful concept.
Yeah.
It means they could potentially avoid some of the pitfalls
Right.
that plague older cities.
Like outdated infrastructure,
Outdated infrastructure, social inequality
social inequality.
baked into the urban fabric.
Yeah, but it also means there's no precedent, no existing model to follow.
Right.
It's a high-stakes experiment.
Precisely, and that's where the potential challenges and opportunities really come into focus.
Will Amaravati become a thriving hub that benefits the entire region? Or will it just become an enclave for the elite, exacerbating existing inequalities?
And will they attract businesses,
Right.
create jobs, improve the standard of living for the people of Andhra Pradesh?
These are the questions that'll determine Amaravati's legacy.
Yeah, it's a lot to consider.
It is.
We've talked about sustainability in terms of environmental impact, but what about social sustainability?
Right.
How do they plan to ensure that Amaravati is a city for everyone,
That's the question.
not just a select few?
So the article doesn't get too deep into the specifics of their social development plans,
Okay.
but it does mention attracting educational institutions and central government departments.
Okay.
This suggests they're aiming to create a diverse economy
Right.
with opportunities across various sectors.
Okay.
But it remains to be seen how they will address issues like affordable housing,
Affordable housing,
access to healthcare,
healthcare.
social mobility.
Yeah, those are essential elements for a thriving and equitable city.
For sure.
And let's not forget the potential impact on the surrounding communities.
Oh, yeah.
We touched upon displacement earlier, but are there plans to integrate these communities into Amaravati's development?
Yeah. Are they going to be left behind as the city grows around them?
That's a valid concern.
It's something we see often with large-scale development projects.
Right.
The focus on building new infrastructure and attracting investment can sometimes overshadow the needs of existing communities.
Right.
Hopefully, the authorities have taken these considerations into account and have developed plans to mitigate any negative impacts.
We can only hope.
Fingers crossed.
It would be a shame to see Amaravati become another example of a city that benefits some
Right.
at the expense of others.
Yeah, no one wants that.
But let's shift gears a bit and talk about the design and aesthetics of the city.
Okay.
We've seen those impressive renderings of the Assembly Building and administrative towers. But what about the overall urban planning?
So the master plan developed by Foster Plus Partners
Okay.
emphasizes a walkable green city
Okay.
with efficient public transportation
Okay.
and a focus on sustainability.
Right.
They envision a city with ample green spaces,
Green spaces.
pedestrian-friendly streets,
Pedestrian friendly.
and a mix of residential, commercial, and cultural areas.
That sounds pretty appealing.
At least on paper.
At least on paper, a walkable city in India.
That's a bold move.
That's a bold move considering the reliance on private vehicles
Yeah.
in many Indian cities.
It's going to be interesting to see how they plan to make that a reality.
Yeah. Will people actually embrace walking and cycling?
Right.
Or will the car culture just prevail?
It'll be interesting to see how they address that challenge.
Yeah.
Cultural shifts take time.
They do.
And changing deeply ingrained habits like transportation preferences
I know.
can be an uphill battle,
Yeah.
but it's certainly a laudable goal.
And what about the cultural identity of the city?
Right.
How do they plan to create a sense of place?
Yeah.
A unique character that distinguishes Amaravati from other cities?
That's where things get a bit vague.
Okay.
The article mentions attracting educational and cultural institutions,
Right.
but it doesn't provide any specific on
Yeah.
how they'll foster a vibrant cultural scene.
Yeah, it's almost as if it's like they're so focused on the physical infrastructure and economic development
Yeah.
that they haven't fully considered the soul of the city.
It's like they're building a body without a heart.
Yeah.
And a city without a strong cultural identity
Yeah.
can feel sterile and uninviting no matter how impressive the buildings are.
You're right. The cultural element is crucial.
Yeah.
It's what attracts people, inspires creativity, fosters a sense of community.
Right.
Hopefully, they will address this aspect more thoughtfully as the project progresses.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the grand vision, the
Yeah.
potential benefits, and the significant challenges, but
Yeah.
let's be honest.
There's always an element of risk involved in a project of this magnitude.
There's always risks.
What are some of the potential pitfalls that could derail Amaravati's success?
So one major risk is financial mismanagement.
Okay.
We've already seen a 42% increase in construction costs.
I know.
If they're not careful, the project could spiral out of control,
Right.
leading to delays, cutbacks, and ultimately failure.
Yeah.
Transparency and accountability in managing these vast sums of money
Yeah.
will be absolutely crucial.
Absolutely. And what about the political landscape?
Yeah.
We know the current government is supportive,
Mm-hmm.
but what happens if there's a change in leadership?
Right.
Could a new government with different priorities abandon or significantly alter the project?
That's a definite possibility.
Yeah.
We've already seen how the previous government's indecision stalled development.
Right.
The risk of political instability impacting long-term projects
Yeah.
is always present, especially in a democracy,
Especially in a democracy.
where priorities can shift with each election cycle.
So political uncertainty,
Uh-huh.
financial risks,
Yep.
potential social and environmental challenges.
Yeah.
It seems like Amaravati is facing an uphill battle.
But what about the flip side?
Yeah.
What are the potential benefits if they manage to pull this off?
The potential benefits are immense.
Huge.
If they can create a truly sustainable, inclusive,
Yeah.
and thriving city. Amaravati could become a model
A model.
for urban development in the 21st century.
Absolutely.
It could attract investment potential, create jobs,
Jobs.
and improve the quality of life
Yeah.
for millions of people in Andhra Pradesh.
And it could also showcase India's ambition and innovation on the global stage.
It's a high-stakes gamble
Yeah.
with potentially huge rewards.
Yeah.
But it all hinges on their ability to navigate these complex challenges
Absolutely.
and make Amaravati more than just a collection of impressive buildings.
Right. They got to get it right.
You know, it's fascinating to think about the amount of planning and coordination
yeah.
that goes into creating a city from scratch.
Absolutely.
It's almost like designing this giant, intricate puzzle.
It really is.
And as we've discussed, there's so many pieces to consider.
So many.
Infrastructure,
Yeah.
governance, economics,
It's a lot.
social dynamics,
Yeah.
environmental impact,
Yeah.
cultural identity.
It all has to work together.
Getting them all to fit together seamlessly,
Yeah.
that's the real challenge.
That's the hard part.
It's a puzzle with incredibly high stakes.
For sure.
The decisions made today
Yeah.
will shape the lives of generations to come.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about Amaravati itself.
Right.
This project has the potential to influence the trajectory of urban development across India and beyond.
I agree.
Amaravati as a potential blueprint for future cities,
Yeah.
showcasing innovative solutions
Exactly.
to the challenges of urbanization in the 21st century.
I like it.
But let's zoom back in for a moment
Okay.
and talk about the people who will actually live in Amaravati.
The people.
What kind of experience will they have? What will daily life be like in this brand new city?
Yeah. That's a tough question to answer at this point.
Yeah.
You know, the article provides these glimpses
Yeah.
of a modern walkable city,
Yeah.
ample green spaces, efficient public transportation.
Sounds nice.
But what will it actually feel like to live there?
Yeah.
Will it foster a strong sense of community?
Right.
Will it be a place where people from all walks of life can thrive?
Yeah. I imagine there will be a period of adjustment.
I think so.
A sense of novelty at first.
Of course.
Living in a city that feels almost purpose-built.
Right.
But will that novelty wear off?
Yeah.
Will it eventually feel like any other city
Yeah.
with its own set of challenges and frustrations?
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
The initial allure of a brand new city might fade, and the realities of urban life will inevitably set in
Right.
traffic congestion, pollution, social disparities.
Oh, usual suspect.
These are issues that plague cities around the world,
Yeah.
and Amaravati won't be immune.
So the question is,
Yeah.
will they be able to address these challenges more effectively?
Right.
Given that they're starting from scratch.
Good question.
It's like they have a chance to learn from the mistakes of other cities
Right.
to avoid repeating the same patterns of urban sprawl and social segregation.
Avoid those pitfalls.
But it requires a different kind of thinking,
Yeah.
a commitment to prioritizing people and sustainability.
Over short-term gains.
Exactly.
It's about creating a city that's not just efficient and aesthetically pleasing, but also equitable and livable.
Yeah.
A city that prioritizes the well-being of its residents,
Right.
fosters a sense of belonging,
Yeah.
and provides opportunities for everyone to thrive.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From the ambitious timeline and the political backdrop to the potential benefits and the significant risks.
And everything in between.
It's clear that Amaravati is a story worth following.
For sure.
A grand experiment with implications that extend far beyond the borders of Andhra Pradesh.
Absolutely. It's a testament to human ambition, ingenuity,
Yeah,
and perhaps a touch of audacity.
I like that.
Whether it succeeds or fails, Amaravati will undoubtedly teach us valuable lessons
Right.
about the challenges and opportunities of building cities in the 21st century.
And for our listeners,
Yes.
we leave you with this thought.
Okay.
Imagine you had the opportunity to contribute to the development of a brand new city.
Wow.
What would be your priorities?
Yeah.
What kind of city would you create?
Some food for thought.
Food for thought, isn't it?
It is.
Thanks for joining us
Thanks, everyone.
on this deep dive into the world of Amaravati.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll continue to follow this story as it unfolds.
Of course.
And keep you updated on its progress.
We'll keep you posted.
Until next time,
See you then.
keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep